This is a remote learning initiative by Thakur Vidya Mandir Global School affiliated to the New Delhi CBSE board located in Uttar Pradesh, India. CBSE Science Standard 6 Chapter 14 Water. Main points to be covered: where do we get water from, water cycle, loss of water by plants, how are clouds formed, back to the oceans, what if it rains heavily, what happens if it does not rain for a long period, rainwater harvesting, where do we use water. Where do we get water from? The various sources of water are surface water like rivers, lakes and ponds, groundwater like wells and springs, sea and ocean water are some of the sources of water. Water that we get from the taps is also drawn from a lake or a river or a well. It is then supplied through a network of pipes. Water that we get from hand pumps is also an example of underground water source. What if it rains heavily? Firstly, note that the time, the duration of the rainfall and the amount or quantity of the rainfall differs from place to place. It rains throughout the year in some parts of the world, while there are some regions which only receive rain for a few days in the year. In our country, India, most of the rainfall occurs during the monsoon season. While the rain is considered irregular, it still arrives during the monsoon season for about 3 to 4 months. The rains bring relief, especially after the hot summer days. The sowing of many crops depends on the arrival of the monsoon. Now, let's go back to the question, what if it rains heavily? Excess of rainfall or anything else is pretty harmful. The problems that will be caused due to excess of rainfall are as follows. Heavy rains may lead to the rise in the level of water in rivers, lakes and ponds. The water may then spread over large areas causing floods. As we know, the areas around rivers and lakes are usually quite largely populated. These floods will create a lot of loss of life and property for the people. The crop fields, forests, villages and cities may get submerged by water. Floods can cause extensive damage to crops, domestic animals, property and human life. During floods, even the animals who are living in water get carried away with the water. They get trapped on land areas and die when the flood water recedes. Rain also affects the animals living in soil. As the water takes the space inside and starts filling in, hence the animals have to come out and are washed away. Sometimes they also die. The most important and simple topic in life, water cycle. It consists of 3 steps. The first, evaporation, wherein the heat from the sun causes the water from water resources to evaporate. The water turns into water vapor and goes up in the sky. As the water vapor goes higher up in the sky, it starts cooling down and starts coming together. Water vapors that come together form droplets which appear to us as clouds. The final step is precipitation. Precipitation is basically when the capacity is exceeded and something falls down. So when the water vapor comes down in the form of rain, it occurs when the water vapor holding capacity of the cloud exceeds its limit. And this is how we get rainfall. Rainfall is essential to replenish the water sources that in turn cause evaporation, which is followed by condensation and finally precipitation. As this process is a continuous process wherein the water goes up and comes down, it is called as water cycle. Transpiration is the process in which plants lose water. Now what happens here is basically there are a few pores on the leaves of the plants. When the leaves are exposed to sunlight, the water vapor that is excess escapes from the plant through these leaf pores. It goes up in the sky and this process is called as transpiration. Basically, water vapor evaporating from leaf pores. You can see transpiration firsthand. Time for the DIY to see transpiration firsthand. All you have to do is cover a plant with a transparent plastic bag and leave it as is for 5 days. You will observe the changes in the plastic bag. You will notice that a few droplets of water will condense near the plastic bag. This shows us that the water vapor in the plant escapes from the leaves and gets trapped in the plastic bag. How are clouds formed? The process of condensation is the basic simple answer for this question. Let's go into detail. Now we know that water vapor is formed as the water from the open surfaces gets heated up due to the sunlight. We know as we go higher from the surface of the earth, it starts getting cooler. So, when the air moves up, it gets cooler and cooler. At sufficient heights, the air becomes so cool that the water vapor present in it condenses to form tiny drops of water called droplets. It is these tiny droplets that remain floating in air and appear to us as clouds. The next question that arises is, how does water go back to the oceans? When many water droplets come together to form large-sized droplets of water, these drops are called droplets. When some of these drops of water become so heavy that they begin to fall, these water droplets are called as rain. In special conditions or in cooler conditions, they may also fall as hail or snow. And this is how water in the form of vapor goes into the air through evaporation and transpiration, forms clouds and then comes back to the ground as rain, hail or snow. Rain is known as barish, hail is known as ole and snow is known as barf. Time for some DIY. How to see condensation firsthand? A very simple thing. All you have to do is pour some cold water in a glass and observe the outer surface of the glass. What do you see? After a while, there are some water droplets that will form on the outer surface of the glass. This happens because when the air comes in contact with the cool surface, it condenses and the water vapor forms small droplets of water as it cools down near the surface of the glass. We already know the answer to the question of what happens if it rains excessively for a long period of time. It causes floods. But what would happen if it doesn't rain for a long period of time? Let's see what we already know. The soil will continue to lose water due to the process of evaporation and transpiration that will keep continuing in the sunlight. Now, as the water is not being brought back by the rain, the soil will start becoming dry. The level of water in ponds and wells will start receding and they may even dry up after a while. The groundwater that gets collected when the rainfall reaches the ground may become scarce in the absence of rain. This may finally lead to drought. In drought conditions, it's difficult to get food and fodder. Now, in your book, note down the following questions and answer them in 3 to 4 sentences. The first one, what happens to animals and vegetation in drought conditions? List the regions in your state that were drought prone last year. How do drought conditions in turn affect human life? And the last question, what steps can you take today to prepare for a drought. A simple way to conserve water is through rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is basically collecting rainwater. All you have to do is follow the two techniques that are mentioned here. The first one is rooftop rainwater harvesting. In this system, the rainwater is collected from the rooftop to a storage tank through a network of pipes. This water may contain soil from the roof and will definitely need filtering before it is used. Instead of collecting rainwater in the tanks, the pipes can go directly into a pit in the ground. This will then seep into the soil to recharge or refill the groundwater. The second option is to allow the water to go directly from the roadside drains into the ground, and the ground will then directly collect rainwater. This process is simply used because it takes a lot of effort to get water back into our homes if the water goes to rivers or lakes which are far away. Rainwater harvesting can be done pretty easily in individual houses or in community societies. Now that we know where water comes from and how it is formed, what happens if it is a lot and what happens if it is less, let's see where water is used. 1/3 of the total water available on the earth is fit for drinking. This small fraction of water that is available on earth is fit for use for plants, animals and humans. Most of the water in the oceans cannot be used directly. When the level of groundwater decreases drastically, the groundwater can also not be used any longer. The total amount of water on the earth will remain the same, but the water available for use is very limited and is decreasing with overusage. As the population increases and there is more progress in science, we see that the demand for water is increasing day by day. Industries and humans require a lot of water. Agriculture requires the majority of water. Humans require water for basic daily activities like bathing, brushing, washing clothes and utensils, watering plants, drinking, and use in toiletries, etc. These are just some of the uses of water that are prominent and important in this chapter. Summary. Water is essential for life. Water vapor gets added to air by evaporation and transpiration. The water vapor in the air condenses to form tiny droplets of water which appear as clouds. When many tiny droplets of water come together, they fall down as rain, snow or hail. Rain, barish, hail, ole and snow, barf, replenish water in reserves, lakes, ponds, wells and soil. The circulation of water between ocean and land is known as the water cycle. Excessive rains may cause floods, while lack of it for a long period may cause droughts. The amount of usable water on earth is limited, so it needs to be used carefully. Dictation words: recede, utensils, cleanliness, oxygen, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, transpiration, disappearing, shallow, continuously, harvesting, seepage, submerged, erosion, replenish. Pause the video, recollect all the things that we have discussed and answer the following questions. Note down the questions and write down the answers in a notebook. Answer the following questions. Note down the questions and write down the answers in a notebook. Then, check the DIY activities that you can do at home. DIY activities to do at home. The first one, make a water purifier or a water filter. The second one, make a water dispenser. Third, paste pictures relating to floods in your notebook and write about the problems that people face and the steps to solve their problems. Fourth, prepare a poster on ways of saving water and display it on your school notice board and write a few slogans of your own on the topic Save Water. 5. List 3 activities in which you can save water. For each activity, describe how you would do it and prepare your emergency water supply kit. 6th and the final one. Can the interlinking of rivers be a solution for mitigation of flood? Discuss this with people around you and write down in your notebook the opinions of those you have discussed them with and your own opinions about this matter.